The Galactic Council's crystalline chambers hummed with tension as Ambassador Katniss Reeves stood before the assembly of 1,000 alien species. Her dark eyes swept across the vast amphitheater, taking in the sneering Zephyrians with their tentacled faces, the coldly logical mechanoids, and the prideful Draconians whose scales shimmered with barely contained fury. "The human colony on Kepler 442b will be dissolved," declared Supreme Arbitrator Vexthor, his 6 arms folded in finality. "Your species has been deemed insignificant, a mere level 2 civilization unworthy of territorial claims in the Outer Rim." Katniss smiled. It wasn't a pleasant smile. "Is that your final decision?" she asked, her voice carrying through the chamber with unexpected authority. Laughter rippled through the assembly. The Zephyrians' tentacles writhed in amusement, while the Draconians bared their fangs in mockery. To them, humanity was nothing more than a primitive species that had barely crawled out of their solar system 50 years ago. They had no antimatter weapons, no quantum shields, no psychic abilities, just simple fusion drives and projectile weapons. "Little human." Vexthor's voice dripped condescension. "You dare question the council that governs 10,000 star systems? Your entire fleet consists of 12 vessels. We could end your species with a thought." Katniss touched the communicator on her wrist. "Admiral Chen, please patch through to Neo." A hologram materialized beside her, a young man in a simple Earth Defense Force uniform. Neo's expression was calm, almost bored. "Neo," Katniss said, "the council has decided to remove our colony. They think we're insignificant." Neo's lips twitched. "Oh, should I show them File Omega?" The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Several species with heightened senses shifted uncomfortably. "What is this File Omega?" demanded a mechanoid, its optical sensors focusing on the humans. Katniss turned back to the assembly. "You see, when humanity discovered faster-than-light travel, we also discovered something else. Something you advanced species seem to have forgotten in your arrogance." She paused, letting the silence build. "We discovered that the universe itself has rules, physical laws, constants, and more importantly," her smile widened, "we discovered they can be broken." The laughter died. Neo's fingers danced across an invisible interface. "Uploading now. You might want to observe Sector 7 Alpha 9. The main viewing screen of the chamber flickered to life, showing a barren star system at the edge of council space. A single human vessel no larger than a freight transport hung in the void. "That system has been dead for 1,000,000 years, scoffed a Draconian admiral. "What could you possibly—" The human ship pulsed once. The dead star at the system's center suddenly blazed to life, its nuclear furnace reigniting with impossible vigor. Planets that had been frozen rocks for eons began to warm. The very fabric of space-time rippled. "Impossible," whispered Vexthor. "You cannot simply restart a dead star. The energy requirements alone would be impossible," Katniss agreed, "if we were playing by your rules. But here's what you never understood about humanity. We didn't evolve on a paradise world like the Zephyrians. We didn't have natural armor like the Draconians. We didn't have advanced technology gifted to us like the mechanoids." She stepped forward, and somehow this single human woman made 1,000 species lean back. "We evolved on a death world. Everything on our planet tried to kill us. The weather, the predators, the diseases, even the plants. And do you know what we did? We didn't just survive. We conquered. We took a world that wanted us dead and made it bow to our will." Neo's hologram flickered as he spoke. "You measure advancement by the size of weapons, by the number of ships. But humanity? We measure it by understanding. And we understand something you don't." The screen changed, showing mathematical equations that made even the mechanoid's processors strain. "Reality," Neo continued, "is just another system to be hacked. You accepted the universe as it is. We asked why it couldn't be different." Another pulse from the human ship. The dead star began to change color, cycling through the spectrum at an impossible rate. Then, without warning, it split into 2 stars orbiting each other in perfect harmony. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Species that hadn't shown emotion in millennia were standing shouting, demanding explanations. "Silence," Vexthor roared. He turned to Katniss, and for the first time in his 1,000-year reign he looked afraid. "What are you?" "We're humans," Katniss replied simply. "We're the species that looked at the speed of light and said, 'That's just a suggestion.' We're the ones who discovered quantum mechanics and thought, 'Let's weaponize probability.' We're the race that found out entropy increases over time and asked, but what if it didn't? She gestured to the screen where the impossible binary star system continued to pulse with renewed life. You want to know why our colony deserves to exist? Because in 50 years we've done what you couldn't do in 50,000. We didn't just accept the universe's rules, we rewrote them. Neo's image smiled coldly. And that ship? That's one graduate student's thesis project. Imagine what our actual military could do. The threat hung in the air like a blade. Vexthor's 6 arms trembled. The Council reverses its decision. The human colony on Kepler 442b is recognized as legitimate. Full territorial rights are granted. Katniss nodded. Wise choice. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Supreme Arbitrator? The next time someone thinks humanity is insignificant, remember this moment. Remember that we didn't threaten you with death. Her eyes gleamed with dangerous promise. We threatened you with change, and for species as old and set in their ways as yours. That's far worse. As the 2 humans' images faded from the chamber, the assembled species stared at the screen where 2 stars danced where one had died. The universe had learned too late, perhaps, that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their ships. It was their complete and utter refusal to accept the word impossible. The Council never challenged humanity again. And in the cosmic records next to Earth's designation, a new classification was added. Approach with extreme caution, reality manipulators. The universe had said, you can't. Humanity had replied, try me and see what happens. The universe never made that mistake twice.